The desert sun scorched everything in sight, a relentless heat that turned every movement into a test of endurance. The team had been deployed for nearly 24 hours without proper rest, their mission critical: intercept an arms shipment that had been traced to a fortified compound deep behind enemy lines. Dust clung to every piece of gear, sand crunching under their boots as they moved through the barren landscape. Every shadow felt like a threat, every rock a potential ambush point. Maya had been the team's sniper for over a decade, her calm precision earning her respect from even the most hardened operators. She moved silently on the ridge above the compound, her rifle balanced perfectly on the bipod, eyes scanning the horizon through the scope. Sweat dripped from her brow, her gloves gritty from handling the weapon. The team leader, Sergeant Harris, had radioed from the valley below, confirming positions and enemy patrol movements. Maya responded with a calm, clipped tone, giving coordinates and adjusting for wind. The tension was unbearable. The compound below was heavily guarded, with motion sensors and armed men patrolling every inch of the perimeter. The team had planned their approach meticulously, but nothing could prepare them for the sudden spike in enemy activity. A single shot rang out from a distant tower, and the world seemed to explode into chaos. Maya's training kicked in. She located the shooter, calculated the distance, and fired, her shot finding its mark with deadly accuracy. The team moved forward, silent as shadows, covering each other as they approached the compound's outer wall. Suddenly, an explosion shook the ground, sending debris flying. Maya took cover behind a large boulder, but the blast had thrown her off balance. Pain lanced through her shoulder, the impact knocking the rifle from her hands. She scrambled to stabilize herself, but a second explosion erupted nearby, and everything went black. Down below, Harris and the rest of the team rushed to their positions, eyes scanning for any sign of Maya. They called her name over the comms, voices strained with urgency. Static answered them at first, then silence. Minutes felt like hours. Harris' heart sank as he watched the smoke and dust clear, revealing the devastation. His stomach twisted when he spotted her empty position on the ridge, her rifle gone, her silhouette nowhere in sight. "May, she's gone," muttered one of the newer operators, his voice trembling. The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Harris clenched his jaw, refusing to accept it, but the evidence was undeniable. A detailed sweep of the area revealed nothing. No movement, no sign of life, just scorched earth and the echo of what had happened. The team made the call they never wanted to make. Maya had been declared Kia. As they prepared to exfiltrate, a somber silence enveloped them. The mission was still ongoing, but the absence of their sniper left a void that no one could ignore. Harris couldn't shake the feeling that something was off, that maybe, just maybe, the finality of their declaration wasn't the truth. But there was no time to dwell on it. They moved on, carrying the weight of loss in every step. Unbeknownst to them, Maya's story was far from over. Beneath the rubble, hidden by the chaos of explosions and dust, she struggled to move, adrenaline and sheer willpower fueling her battered body. Her shoulder burned, her vision blurred, but she refused to give in. Every muscle screamed in protest, yet she clawed her way out of the wreckage. The world was hazy, but her mind was sharp. She knew her mission wasn't over, not until she ensured the compound was neutralized. Pain and determination intertwined as she crawled toward her rifle, buried under debris. Her fingers, trembling but unyielding, found the familiar grip. The weight of it grounded her, a reminder of who she was and what she could do. Slowly, painfully, she dragged herself to higher ground, scanning for threats. The enemy below was distracted by the team's movement, unaware that their most lethal opponent was still very much alive, watching, waiting. Maya's lips curled into a determined smile despite the blood trickling down her temple. They had ridden her off, declared her dead, but she was far from finished. Survival was one thing, but she had a mission to complete, and the moment for revenge and precision had just begun. The ridge loomed ahead, a precarious perch that would give her the perfect vantage point. Every step was agony, every movement measured, but failure was not an option. The desert winds howled around her, carrying with them the scent of smoke and chaos. The team below, unaware of her survival, pressed forward, believing their sniper lost. But Maya's eyes, sharp and unwavering, locked onto the compound. A plan began to form in her mind, precise and deadly. The element of surprise was hers, and when the time came, no one would expect the woman they declared dead to strike with unstoppable force. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching across the sand, and Maya finally reached her position. She exhaled sharply, pain radiating through her body, but she smiled faintly. They might have thought she was gone, but the truth was about to change everything. Maya's breathing came in sharp, controlled bursts, each inhale a battle against the pain radiating from her shoulder. The sand under her palms was coarse and unforgiving, but it grounded her. Her rifle rested in her lap as she scanned the compound below, noting every patrol pattern, every movement of the guards, unaware that she had survived. Every instinct honed over years of service screamed that this was her moment. The team, spread out in the valley below, advanced cautiously. Harris moved like a shadow, eyes darting from one position to another, still haunted by the thought that Maya was gone. Every decision he made carried the weight of her absence, the knowledge that their sniper's precision was no longer there to cover their backs. The men glanced around, uneasy, voices low and strained, occasionally repeating her name, almost hoping for a response that would never come. Maya's gaze locked on a guard making his rounds at the compound's northern wall. His steps were methodical, predictable. A smirk crept across her bloodied face as she lifted the rifle, adjusting for distance, wind, and gravity. Her finger hovered over the trigger, muscles taut with anticipation. One shot, one clean impact, and he would be down before anyone noticed. The wind shifted slightly, carrying the faint scent of burning debris, and Maya recalculated. Precision was her ally, chaos was the enemy. The rifle cracked like thunder in the quiet desert. The guard crumpled without a sound, the dust hiding the bullet's deadly path. Maya exhaled, heart steady, as her mind shifted to the next target. Each movement was deliberate, a silent symphony of destruction she orchestrated from the shadows. She couldn't risk being spotted yet, she needed the element of surprise. Down below, the team heard the faint crack of gunfire, stopping mid-step. Harris' head snapped up, eyes narrowing. What the hell was that? He muttered into his calm, scanning the ridge above. Static answered, then silence. Confusion rippled through the team. Their sniper had been declared dead minutes ago. There was no way. Yet, instinct gnawed at Harris, a nagging doubt he couldn't ignore. Maya moved again, inching along the ridge, using every shadow as cover. Her body screamed in protest, but she ignored it. She had trained for scenarios far worse than this, and every ounce of her being refused to accept defeat. Another guard came into view, his attention focused elsewhere. She took careful aim, her breathing synchronized with the moment, and released another shot. Silence, then impact. Another piece of the enemy's defenses silently crumbled. She allowed herself a brief pause, scanning the compound like a predator circling its prey. Her shoulder throbbed with every movement, but adrenaline masked the pain. She could see the team below moving cautiously, unaware that their sniper was alive, their safety net silently taking control from above. Maya's mind raced. She needed to neutralize the highest threats first, create confusion, and then coordinate with the team for extraction. Harris, puzzled and tense, started relaying orders to his men. Hold position. Something's not right. Be ready for anything. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching them, guiding their steps with deadly precision. His gut screamed Maya, but the impossibility of it kept him silent. Still, he adjusted their formation, moving more cautiously than ever. Maya spotted the communications tower at the center of the compound, the hub that coordinated patrols and reinforcements. Taking it out would give the team a significant advantage. She calculated the trajectory, factoring in her weakened stance and the desert wind. Every shot had to count. She lined up her next target, exhaled slowly, and squeezed the trigger. The tower shuddered as the bullet found its mark, wires sparking and alarms blaring. Chaos erupted within the compound. Down below, Harris cursed under his breath, realizing that something extraordinary was happening. Patrols scrambled, movements became erratic, and the team could push forward without heavy resistance, but still, the question lingered in every mind: who was orchestrating this from above? Maya remained hidden, her eyes narrowing as she assessed the unfolding chaos. She knew the team's next move, she knew the enemy's next panic, and she knew that when the moment came, she would reveal herself, not just as a survivor, but as the force that would tip the scales entirely. The desert wind howled around her, carrying the scent of smoke, sand, and imminent victory. Survival had been just the beginning, now it was time to turn the tables. Pain lanced through her shoulder again, a harsh reminder of the explosions that had tried to claim her life. Yet every throb, every ache, only fueled her determination. She was alive, precise, and unstoppable. Every movement was calculated, every decision critical. They had declared her dead, but Maya knew the truth. The mission wasn't over, and neither was she. The sun had dipped low over the horizon, casting long, jagged shadows across the desert. Dust swirled through the air, carrying the faint metallic tang of gunfire and smoke. Maya crouched on the ridge, her rifle resting against her shoulder, eyes scanning the chaos below. The compound was in disarray, guards running, alarms blaring, vehicles overturned. Her precision had turned the tide, but the mission wasn't complete until the team knew she was alive. Harris and his men were advancing toward the main building, cautious yet encouraged by the sudden disruption in enemy defenses. They moved carefully, eyes darting to every doorway and window. Harris felt a gnawing unease, the sensation that they weren't alone. Every instinct he had screamed a truth he refused to fully accept: Maya. But she had been declared dead. The idea felt impossible, almost unreal. From her concealed vantage point, Maya observed their movements, noting every cover point, every blind spot. Her shoulder throbbed with pain, but adrenaline dulled it, sharpening her focus instead. She could see the fear and confusion in the enemy's eyes as they realized their defenses were being dismantled from above. And yet, she waited. Timing was everything. The moment had to be perfect. A sudden shout below drew Maya's attention. One of the team operators froze, pointing toward the ridge. Harris' heart skipped. Could it be? Maya's lips curled into a faint, grim smile. She had waited, hidden, letting the team believe the worst, letting the enemy believe she was gone. Now, the moment had come. With a sudden motion, she emerged from the shadows. Dust and sand kicked up around her as she rose to her full height, rifle slung over her shoulder, bloodied but unbroken. The team froze, disbelief etched across every face. Harris' jaw went slack, his mind racing to comprehend what he was seeing. Maya, the woman they had mourned just minutes ago, stood alive and unscathed enough to strike fear into anyone who doubted her survival. Maya, Harris' voice cracked, disbelief bleeding into awe. The world seemed to hold its breath. I'm right here, she said, her voice calm, steady, authoritative. Pain lanced through her body, but it didn't show. Her eyes scanned the compound one last time. Let's finish this. The team rallied immediately, their shock transforming into renewed determination. Maya moved alongside them, her precision sniper skills now complemented by close-quarters agility as she guided the men through the remaining threats. Guards who had thought her dead fell silently, efficiently, before they even realized she was there. Every shot she took, every move she made, reminded the team why she was the deadliest among them. Harris kept glancing at her, awe mixing with relief. We thought we lost you, he muttered under his breath, almost to himself. You didn't, Maya replied with a small, wry smile. I told you, I don't get left behind. Minutes later, the compound was secured. Enemy combatants had either fled or surrendered, their morale shattered by the sudden appearance of the sniper they had ridden off. The team gathered, breaths heavy, bodies exhausted, but spirits soaring. Maya lowered her rifle, shoulders stiff, and finally allowed herself to take in the moment. She had survived, she had guided her team through near impossible odds, and the mission was a success. Harris stepped forward, clapping her on the shoulder with a mix of respect and relief. You've got some explaining to do, he said, a grin breaking through his fatigue. Maya simply shook her head, letting the team revel in the moment. The mission had taken everything from them, but she had reminded them that nothing, not even death, was final until the fight was truly over. As they prepared to leave the desert, Maya took one last look at the horizon. The sun had nearly disappeared, painting the sky in streaks of red and gold. She had returned from the brink, not just as a survivor, but as a force that no one would ever forget. And as the team loaded into their extraction vehicles, Maya allowed herself a rare, small smile at the thought of telling the story later, not just for them, but for everyone watching, knowing that courage, skill, and determination could defy even the deadliest odds. If you enjoyed this incredible journey of survival and triumph, don't forget to subscribe to Her Story's Words. Hit that button to catch more thrilling stories of courage, unexpected heroes, and moments that will leave you speechless. You won't want to miss what's coming next.